Hey everyone, Brian from the Cabinet Joint here. No matter what kitchen you order, overlay, inset, you're going to have to put hinges on a door. The doors do not come from the manufacturer with the hinges already in them. That would create a lot of damage and rubbing. So one of the processes you're going to be doing is some upfit, which involves putting the hinges on the door themselves. Regardless of whether it's an inset hinge or an overlay hinge, they come in packages like this with all the screws you'll need. It's the same exact principle when you set the hinge in the cup to put it in. Tools are minimal. Square is optional. I'll show you how you'll use that. That just makes the hinge square in the cup. That's optional. You can buy eye it if you want, but we don't recommend it. We use a countersink bit, which allows me to put about a half-inch deep hole in the door dead center because it's tapered. So those are about $7 from Lowe's. I got a Phillips head bit, and then if you don't have one of these, I've just got a drill that's got a normal, about a 3/32 drill bit in it. If you're very careful and find the center of the hole in the hinge cup, you can do it that way if you don't have one of these. Not that big of a deal. But let's get started and show you how to actually put the hinges in the door and get them hung on the cabinet. Okay, again, the hinges come in their own packages. They're labeled, whether it's full overlay or inset hinges, they come in their own package. Just a quick bit of information if you're an inset customer, these hinges are meant to snap onto this bracket here, okay? So this bracket mounts behind the front frame and the hinge snaps into it. You want to mount these brackets before the cabinet is built. All this comes together in this package, but you're just gonna, for this operation, we're just gonna pull the hinges out and we don't need the brackets. That's gonna go on the cabinet itself. If it's overlay, all you get is the 2 hinges and the 4 screws. Very, very simple. So here are my screws, 2 for each hole, and here are my hinges. These go in the same exact way, so I'm just gonna use this overlay hinge to demonstrate. I'm gonna set the hinges in the cup. Okay, they just kind of press in. If they're painted doors, you might have a little bit of a firm press because there's some paint buildup in there, but they will go in. Now is where I use my square, and I'm gonna take my square and run it along the edge of the door. And you can see if this hinge is kicked this way, the square won't square up. But as I push the square, I guarantee that my hinge is running parallel to the edge of the door. Now I can take my pre-drill bit, and because of that taper that you see there, it'll find its way into the very center of that hole, and I can get a perfect hole. If I don't have one of those, I'm just using a 3/32 bit. I want to make sure the bit is set to not go all the way through the door. So I'm going to adjust this in a little bit to make sure I'm only going down about a ½ inch. And then I would just find the center of the hole as best I can and go in. I do not need to go all the way in if I've got a longer bit sticking out. Just make sure you don't penetrate. I'm only going in about ½ inch. So now I have this hinge dead straight. I can take my Phillips head, take one of the screws, and just go in until it stops. Don't over torque this, especially if your doors are MDF. Just go until it's tight. If you overdrive it, it'll just start to spin and auger out the hole, and now you have a screw that's not holding fast. I'm gonna do the same thing on this one down here. It shouldn't be a big deal, you get the idea. Okay, something I wanna mention about these hinges, you might see some doors from some manufacturers, if you've got cabinets from Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, you'll see there's 2 other holes over here, about an 8mm hole on either side. Those are what we call insert holes. So when you're working with your cabinet codes, you're gonna see that your boring pattern calls for pattern A for the overlay and pattern B for the inset, but it says cup only, no insert holes. That is correct. This is not the insert hole, that's the cup. The insert holes are for press-in style hinges, which a cabinet shop would have a hinge press. It drills out those 2 holes and the big hole. They put the hinge into a press and pull a handle, and it presses the hinge into those little, it's like a little fluted dowel in those 2 8mm holes. You do not want that. So don't fight your cabinet coach when you say, no, I do want the insert holes. No, you don't. You want cup only. And that's why you're actually mounting the door, or the hinge rather, straight to the door with a wood screw. Very important difference. If you're a cabinet shop and you got a hinge press, we'll sell them to you that way, but most homeowners don't. There are other variations to hinges that we sell, whether it's the 170-degree Lazy Susan hinges. It's all variations on a theme. Hinge drops into the cup, you make sure it's straight, run your 2 holes, and you're good to go. So if you have any questions, obviously talk to your cabinet coach. They're there to help you, but this is probably one of the easiest things you'll be doing with your assembly. It's just monotonous, but it takes you about an hour to hinge all your doors and you're ready to hang them. There are separate videos that show how to take a door, like an inset door, and snap it on and adjust it, how to install a overlay door. This is just to show you how to put the door hinges on the door itself. We hope this has been of help to you. Thanks for watching.